Good afternoon, this is Lindsay. It is April 14th, 2025. And I just did a video and the whole thing didn't record any of it, so I'm starting over. I just want to talk about more of this smear campaign, gang stalking, harassment program of when they target people in corporations. And in this aspect, I'm talking about Gold's Gym and the corporate Gold's Gym, not the, because some are franchise and some are corporate, and I go to different ones. So today, what they did, and this is more of a okay, like it's like they're putting me, what it feels like, what they're doing is like, considering that I got that notice in the mail the other day about some kind of a to be part of a jury duty for something, which I haven't even looked into that more. And then all this, it's clearly there's stuff going on behind my back or without my being told things, okay? I know that because I can pick up on the signs and the way people behave when they're around me. But I got that thing in the mail the other day about the court jury duty thing. And then, and since of course I have a YouTube channel where I've been exposing narcissistic abuse and talking about how I was framed or entrapped by somebody posing as this person, that fucking narcissistic jackass asshole who's I don't want to, that whole scenario, that jackass who was doing that to me for the past couple of years, using coercive abuse and manipulation and trying to entrap me with lies and, abusing me psychologically and taking advantage of me and trying to steal my fucking money and steal my ideas and obviously for financial reasons stealing my business or trying to make sure that I become poor. He had a motive to steal my fucking money and ruin my life. And his fucking wife, whoever that bitch Connie, is involved. That much I know, that those two were doing this, as well as other people he had hired to do this to me. That much I know, because I could see that now. Definitely now I can guarantee that motherfucker was paid by the government or somebody to do this to me, to destroy me and have me killed. And I don't care what anybody says, I know what I'm talking about, because I can guarantee you. And people like that, you're going to get caught and you're going to fucking pay for what you've done. You will pay. There will be consequences for that kind of stuff that you did to me. At least I have it documented, though. But anyway, to what happened at the gym, though, today. So, of course, they're trying to get rid of me at Gold's Gym because of the smear campaign that's going on and all this that's still going on, and it's never going to stop as long as I keep going there. As long as I go to any gym or whatever, they're going to continue to try to kick me out of any gym that I go to because they don't like me. And I know that. And I'm not there to try to be popular. I'm not there to try to be nice to people or talk to people. I'm just there because I have reasons as why I like to go to the gym and the machines. And anyway, and they know that, so they try to make it as miserable for me as they can. They'll smile, but behind those smiles, they hate you and they talk shit about you. That's what I've learned, or that's what I know about most people. Is they can smile at you all fucking day, but they don't. But it's deceptive. Don't trust a person who just because they smile at you doesn't mean anything. You can tell when people are genuine and when they're not. But at least I can from my experiences. And of course, now I don't trust anybody other than my own intuition. So at the gym today, the first thing that happened when I went into the ladies' locker room, there was a girl talking really loud on her phone, pretty loud, talking this direct conversation shit about, she was calling me a racist, and no. She was having some conversation with somebody. I don't know if it was a fake conversation or not. She was talking about how so-and-so was calling her a racist, and then, I don't think she should have worn that because, that velvet dress and showing her body like that. And then she was saying, and showing all that fat. And I was like, oh my God, I was just thinking why is she talking that loud and whatever. I didn't say anything, obviously, but I could hear everything. And then I went to go wash my hands, and the same girl was still talking on the phone really loud. and she was an Asian, I think she was probably Asian of some kind, I don't know, lady. And she smiled at me, and she just smiled at me, and I just smiled back. I was like, okay. But so that I heard that whole conversation going on, and it seemed like it was a staged conversation. And then I went in to go do my workout, and of course they're always trying to put me to the test, right? Using different ethnicities of people and women or men, or to see if I'm going to react or see how I respond to what they're doing to try to get my attention. And I just ignore all of it, everything going on around me like that, because they're trying to provoke me into reacting to make me look crazy. And they're targeting me in doing this. But, and I'm not saying each and every person there is doing that, but clearly there are people who are very aggressive with their targeting tactics against myself. And you know what? I just ignore you. You can do that all the fuck you want, and I'm not even going to look at you. I'm just going to ignore you. Because at a corporate gym, they will hire people, government people and all these other kinds of people, community watch people and whatnot, to try to, get the person out of there who they don't like, And so, of course, they always have to have their target, who's the one, the one that they don't want to, the person they don't want there, and that usually is myself for whatever reasons. And I mean, this is just crazy in this day and age. If that's the way, what is it that I'm doing that's so bad that's causing that kind of things? Obviously it's because they know who I am, and probably some of these people, they've heard gossip about me or whatever. And I don't care. The point is that I don't care anymore. I don't even let it affect me. I just see it for what it is, and I try to take it with a grain of salt, because I just see how ridiculous these kinds of mobbing, smear campaign, gang stalking tactics are against an individual. Because at the end of the day, it's only going to make themselves look like idiots. That's all I can say, is at the end of the day, if you're going out of your way to harass and gang stalk a total stranger who you've never spoken to, then at the end of the day, who's the one who's crazy? Me or you? You doing it. You're the fucking crazy one doing that shit. And so then at one point I go into the locker room again to go use a bathroom, and there's some trash by the sink, a couple wads of paper towels, and the black woman who works there, teaches a class, is standing there doing something at the sink, and she's just looking at me, and there's another woman planted on one of the benches, a Hispanic lady looking at her fucking phone and looking at me at the same time, seeing if I'm going to pick up the fucking trash or not. And of course it's all a test to see if I'm going to pick up the trash for the janitor lady who wasn't there yet, I guess. But you see, they're trying to make me the unpaid helper, right? And I don't mind picking up some trash here and there, or a paper towel that somebody threw away or missed the trash banister or whatever. But you know what? I'm not going to fucking do that all the time unless I get paid. Okay? I'm not the fucking unpaid helper anymore. And I'm sick and fucking tired of people doing that. These people who think that they are above everybody, they think they're snooty, superficial people that do that. Throw your own fucking trash away. Do everybody a favor and throw your own goddamn trash in the fucking trash can, because I'm sick of fucking doing that for people, and I'm not getting paid to do it. So that was a test, but I did pick it up and put in the trash. Big deal, So. Yeah, but I'm tired of doing that because it was a test. Because then as soon as I did that, the lady's on her phone doing something and looking at me. Ooh, what the fuck? I feel like confronting these people and saying, what the fuck do you want and why are you doing this? Do you want to fucking start a fucking fight? That's what sometimes goes on in my mind, but obviously I know how to have self-composure and self-control. I'm not that impulsive, but some of these people push you to the fucking absolute extremes to try to get you to react. But thankfully, I know how to conduct myself without doing that. But that's what they're trying to do. Provoke you into reacting in a way that's either violent or that makes you look delusional and crazy, so that, once again, I get kicked out of the fucking gym or whatever. You see what they do? This is a crime. This is a hate crime of what they're doing to me. I am the victim of this shit. And I don't call myself a fucking victim, but there's no other word to describe it, what they're doing to me. It's a harassment campaign, it's discrimination, and it's got to stop. It has to stop. And if they don't like what I fucking listen to on my MP3 player because it's educational and it's something that I like to learn about, that's your own fucking problem. Don't fucking project your fucking insecurities and anger onto me. I have the right to listen to whatever I want to on my headphones. You know, it's none of your fucking business. They shouldn't be listening to it, but they are. Every little thing I do, they want to analyze. Like they're a bunch of experts at analyzing behavior. You know, you're a bunch of fucking idiots as far as I'm concerned if you have to do that. Why don't you fucking pay attention to yourself and quit wasting your time worrying about what I'm doing? And then I get back on the treadmill after using the bathroom, and I look up, I'm on there for all of 5 minutes, and I look up briefly and I see that Masters golf tournament thing is on one of the TVs. And then all of a sudden, as soon as I look up at the TV, which I don't really ever look at the fucking TV, a commercial comes on for Coca-Cola, and the names on the Coke bottles, Sarah and David, Coca-Cola commercial. And I'm thinking, oh wow, what a coincidence. Just so happens that I left a message a couple days ago I called David Baldwin, my relative, my dad's and Alan's cousin named David Foster Baldwin, who lives in Athens, Georgia. Anyway, I've known him from a long time ago. He's a relative, right? A distant relative, somewhat of a distant relative. My dad's cousin, my uncle's cousin, David, and my grandfather's on my dad's side. And he's an interesting man. He's an historian, very smart guy, kind of. I think he's got a little bit of dementia, maybe a little bit of something nowadays, but he's very interesting to talk to. I have a little bit of his conversation recorded when I talked to him once and I have it on my MP3 player, because I like to hear voices of people who are familiar to me or who I know or who I respect. I like to hear their voices on my, just because. And I have that, and I was and by the way, that came on because a lot of times I'll just let my MP3 player do its random thing. Sometimes I fuck around with it and I'll play what I want to play, but usually I'll put it on shuffle and just let it choose whatever. And so I'll just say I don't want to mess with it. Let it pick out what is going to be playing for me. And the other day, day before yesterday, because I was at a Babcock location yesterday, but the day before yesterday at that location on 151 and US 90, one of the first things that came on when I was on the treadmill was David Foster, the conversation I had with him from 2023 when Alan died, that I recorded it back when Alan first died, and I was calling him to let him know that Alan died, and that was in 2023, February of 2023. Or when I called him. That's the last time I talked to him on the phone. But then I've kept up with him. I sent a card at Christmas time to say hello, and then they sent me one back, he and his wife Sarah, which was very nice of them to respond back. I felt that was very nice of them to send me a card back in the mail that I got back from them. And because they're like the only relatives I have on my dad's side. David Baldwin is the only relative who I know of who's still alive on my dad's side. So, and I never even, and I just know him from growing up. I used to see him at Peaches and Pop's house a lot, in Memorial on the Saybrook house, over there at Broken Bow. He go there sometimes, and so, yes, I remember him very vividly. And so anyway, but it just so happens that a couple days ago, I called, when that came on, my MP3 player 2 days ago, that conversation with David Baldwin. And then prior to that, the day before, I had called to let him know that I had changed maybe a week ago, I called them a couple weeks ago, whatever, to let them know that I had a new phone number. Or called to say hello and to also let them know that by the way, I have a different phone number just in case. So yeah, but that commercial, you see, I don't think that was David and Sarah, yes, they're common names, but it didn't seem like it was just a random coincidence, considering all the synchronicities that happen in my life. It just so happens that I look up and that's a commercial that I see, and David and Sarah, the names like that. I know it makes me, it's like it's trying to say that, oh, I'm so special, and oh, look at me, and the world revolves around me and everything. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that a lot of these coincidences and synchronicities that happen to me at the gym are not by accident. That's all I have to say, because the other recording didn't record anything, and I just don't feel like talking about it anymore. I've said enough right now, and it's like I could sit here and talk about this stuff all day, about nobody's going to ever understand it because they're not targeted. They don't understand how this shit works, how the government surveils people, how they monitor you in your home, how they hack into your computer, your phone. They surveil you in the fucking bathrooms. It's obvious there's hidden cameras in the locker room, and it's an encroachment and violation of my civil rights, constitutional rights. It's a violation of my rights. I can fucking feel the surveillance like a ton of bricks every time I'm there. And I don't like that. I don't like being monitored and watched and surveilled by a bunch of government, whatever they think they are, better than everybody else because you work for the fucking government or whatever the fuck. I don't give a shit. So do I. I used to, and I don't fucking care. Big deal. So what? A lot of people work for the fucking government, or just about every 1 in every 10 people nowadays is some fucking snitch or some goddamn undercover cop or FBI agent. Big deal. Surprise, surprise. Whoa, I'm so impressed.